go. Indicator said red, so change gear. Right, welcome back guys to another video, and I finally managed to get around to actually making a video of my car. I believe the fuel crisis shortages are kind of like done where we are anyway, but so yeah, I've got the Civic Type R FK2. It's the GT pack, so it comes with a few extras like I'll mention on the actual video. So I hope you enjoyed the video. We'll go for a little walk around and we'll go for a little drive, the usual sort of routine, and yeah, and this car, honestly, this car is awesome. These FK2 Civic Type Rs are absolutely amazing cars. Quite a lot of power, front wheel drive, LSD, 6-speed gearbox, fantastic cars. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Performance Lifestyles. Check us out on Instagram as well, Performance_Lifestyles. And we're on Facebook as well, Performance Lifestyles. Check us out. There's plenty of videos uploaded and we've got plenty of content to come still. And if you'd like your car featured on our channel, drop us an email, pflifestyle@hotmail.com. and we will be more than happy to accommodate. So yeah, in the meantime, I've got the Civic for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Check it out. Here it is. Late 2015 Civic Type R GT FK2. So this is the first generation of the turbocharged Type Rs. And as you're probably aware, they didn't make them for about 4 or 5 years in between emissions issues and stuff. So yeah, finally Honda have stuck a turbocharged engine under there, so it's a newer version of the K20 but with a turbo on it. So as you can see from the outside, these cars are mega. They look great, honestly, they look absolutely great. These were tested around the Nürburgring and they were the fastest front wheel drive production cars around there. And what Honda have done is they've actually kept the car looking exactly how they've tested it, so everything on the cars is there for a purpose and nothing additional has been added. This is a completely standard example. In black, it looks like a mini Batmobile. So standard features, obviously, you got all the wider arches on the front because the track is wider on the front, hence why you've got bigger arches. The front bumper has got that aggressive sort of styling going on about it. Black grille here, obviously the big red H and the Type R logo. The only thing I don't like is this silver sort of mesh at the bottom, but again, it's not that bad. And the splitter on these cars has that red pinstripe on it, which I've kind of like scuffed on the corner there, but it's, yeah, it looks good. It looks very good. The wheels, these were known for having really rubbish paint on them, and this one is no exception. It still has obviously a bit of bubbling here and on a couple of the spokes, but yeah, I think the 19-inch wheels look good, fill the arches quite nicely, and full pot Brembo brakes. Now these brakes are absolutely massive. They are humongous. Discs, again, they've grooved vented sort of discs and fake vents. I think a couple of them have got little holes in them, but I don't think they really do much, but they look good. And again, just actually make up for the wider arches here, they've had to put like little vents here just to add to the whole styling, and I think they look quite good. When you look at them, it's got a wider track on the front, and obviously then the rears of just as they are. Again, 19-inch wheels with standard conventional sort of brake calipers on here, smaller discs, which is standard. Performance Lifestyles, people, check it out. Subscribe to our channel, help us grow. And onto the rear. The rear looks quite aggressive, doesn't it? Especially with that big wing on it. 4 exhaust pipes, twin here and twin there, and in between them you've got this aggressive looking splitter with the F1 style fog light in the middle, which I think is perfect, absolutely perfect. And again, I'm not a big fan of the badge, maybe in black look better, but obviously the Type R one, here's a Type R, it's there, and the red H, and again, and then a little mini Batman sticker, which the story behind that, but yeah, that's a different story. So yeah, these actual wings, honestly, they look great. They've got these little flicks on the side here, which look quite impressive. It's top there again, all in the name of downforce and all in the name of handling. And they do actually make the car handle very well. These cars are renowned for their handling. As I mentioned, they were the fastest front-wheel drive production car in the world for a while, and I think it was the Renault Megane that beat them, but the RS Megane, they're a great car as well. Honestly, beautiful car. Another feature these FK2s have is they've got this DRL. I don't know if you'll be able to notice it. It kind of like goes all the way from the bottom over there and follow it around there. Yeah, you can probably see it blinking away on the camera. It doesn't blink in real life, that's just the way they are. And they have LED headlights, which in the dark actually are very impressive. And also it's got auto high beam assist, which if somebody's not coming from in front of you in the dark, it detects there's nobody oncoming traffic, it automatically switches on your high beams, which is a good thing. But yeah, it's a great car. What we'll do is check it out on the inside. The interior is very impressive. There's a lot of red going on here. The first thing you notice obviously is the seats, which are, I think, a very, very good looking, impressive seat. I think you get the limited edition FK2s with the black and red, so a little bit of red on them, but majority black. But I think the red seats, alongside the whole, obviously, red styling, red trim on the steering wheel, the red badge, the red centre marker on the actual steering wheel, and they're just a fantastic car, honestly. Sat nav, touchscreen thing, the gear knob's up here somewhere. Well, not up here somewhere. It's like the EP3 was up here, but somewhere. But these are normal spot, and then you've got your Type R plaque, and again storage compartments under here. You've got storage here, storage there. They're actually, the GT specs are a very, very well spec'd car, and use them as perfect, you know, family sort of cars. The seats on these cars are impressive, like I mentioned. They're a very slim sort of bucket seat with side airbags, and the rears are like a mesh sort of thing on them. Again, I don't think it does anything, but you got your harness holes there as well, and red seat belts. Again, red seat belts on the front, which it all adds to that whole character. Everything on these cars is it's a keyless entry, keyless start, push button start, which is the red push button there, and then you got the famous R plus R button here. So if I was to go and try and fire it up, it does the whole needle sweep thing, which an impressive thing. You get the Type R logo there. So yeah, it's got a G meter here, and you've got the amount of pressure applied on the brakes, which is that one there, and then the throttle, the percentage of throttle and stuff that you're applying there. And then as soon as you switch it into the R mode, it comes up with a little red glow on the top of the Honda, and you get a boost gauge and all your temperatures and stuff that come up here. So you got your speedometer up there, and it tells you what gear you're in as well. Oh, it's not actually showing me now. I've got to take the handbrake and release the clutch. But yeah, it shows you what gear you are in the side there, speedometer there, and the dials on these things are fantastic. You got the temperature, water temperature there, fuel gauge there. As you can see, you've got near enough a full tank of fuel, and the rev counter in the middle. The previous Type Rs, especially more so the DC2 and the EK9, did rev to 9,500 RPM, but with this being a turbocharged version of the Type R, the first gen of the turbocharged Type Rs, red line begins at 7 till 8, and they do rev to 7 and a bit thousand RPM. And they've also got like red stitching here, red stitching on the gear knob, little knee pads here on the side, red stitching, red on the mats, and then you've got your Type R thing there. And again, the whole thing, this information system, I can't remember the actual name for it, is good, but it's not the best out there. But again, it weren't really designed with that in mind. Got like carbon fiber trim here, again red pinstripe glove box, red stitching on the door cards with Alcantara and some plasticky sort of thing there, and again on the same on this side. But what they do also have is you got your lane assist, front parking sensors, interior sensor, traction control. They actually a very, 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 very well spec'd car. It's a Civic Type R. You wouldn't really expect, I wouldn't have expected, but they come with a very impressive system. It brakes for you automatically as well if it detects you're approaching a car too quick and not applying no brake pressure. So it automatically brakes it, it stops you from having an accident. Blind spot indicators, which are fantastic features again on the side there. You can't see it now, but it's there. It's actually a very good. Oh, there you can see it somewhere. And obviously the usual God knows how many speaker sound system. The sound system is okay, but I'm not much into my music, so it don't really bother me. Auto dim rear view mirror, and it's just like I mentioned, the red seats, black roof lining, black-ish plasticky dashboard with the red pinstripes. I think suits the R image very well. It's an impressive car to look at, the interior, and more impressive to drive. They are absolutely fantastic. I'll show you under the bonnet and then we'll go for a drive and you'll know exactly what I mean. Here it is, the K20 engine with a turbocharger attached to it over there somewhere. Well, over there. There's not really a lot going on under here. It's just obviously your usual red engine cover, Earth's technology, VTEC, and the first VTEC turbo. Oh, the only thing I have actually done to this car is just to get a little bit more noise out of it. Even though it's got two twin tailpipes in the back, they're very, very quiet. I've actually been told, just as a bit of a piss take, is it sounds about as loud as an electric car when you're coasting or on idle and stuff, which I don't blame them, to be fair, they're very quiet. Is what I've done is I've actually taken the hose off that connects to there. It adds a bit more suction noise and you might be able to hear it on the video, you might not, I don't know, but it's actually sounds quite good from inside in the flesh in real life, and I think they need to sound like this. I might do a couple of little modifications to it in the near future, but it all depends if I actually keep it for long enough to actually modify, do anything with it. I've had it for a few months now and I think it's just, yeah, I might just kind of like change cars, get something else, but in the meantime I'm enjoying it. So, but what we'll do is we'll go for a drive and you'll know exactly what I mean. Right then, the actual drive on this Civic Type R. Coming from, as I've previously mentioned, coming from driving like the FN2s and EP3s and stuff, they were a fantastic car in their own right. But I know some people disagreed with me on this because of the previous video and stuff, but I just don't think they deserve that R badge. They never had that R feeling coming from an EK9 before that, because the EK9s were absolutely immense. They were absolutely perfect, seriously perfect machines. And then the EP3 dropped and it was not as raw and not as engaging as the EK9. But then the FN2 dropped and that was like a complete and utter flop. It was as far as an R goes. But with regards to it being a nice, comfortable, quickish, reliable family sort of hatchback, it was perfect. Honestly, it was perfect. But they just didn't quite deserve the R badge. But then the FK2 come out, and with it being a turbocharged, which already kind of like threw, you know, things up into the end, it was like, whoa, what is this going to even be like? So, kind of like, before buying one of these, it was always one of them cases where I thought, okay, is it going to be as good as the EK9? But if it's any FN2's anything to go off, then it's not going to be very, very good, I thought. So I've managed to actually take the plunge and bought a FK2. And oh my days, these cars are fantastic. They are so much better than an FN2. They've got, obviously, with the introduction of a turbocharger, so now you're looking at 306 brake horsepower. Torque, I'm sure it's around 3 to 350, I can't remember the exact figure, but it's enough to get you out of a sticky situation. And coupled with, obviously, the 6-speed manual gearbox, because that's the only gearbox you get them in, is a 6-speed box. Limited slip diff. They handle on a complete different level. They are so good. Honestly, the handling on these is so good, and 300 brake horsepower is a very, very good figure. Very good figure. Oh, it's got auto hill assist as well. And so yeah, 300 horsepower, 306 horsepower, 3 to 350 odd pounds-feet of torque, and 6-speed manual gearbox. A proper driver's car. These, honestly, these FK2s are very, very good cars. They feel very planted. The whole driving position, the experience that you get, these seats are, if you've got a few issues, back problems, or if you've got slightly wider hips and stuff, then yeah, they might not be for you, because the bolsters are very firm and they're very hugging. But for somebody my size, perfect. Honestly, they are good. They're very, very good. They hug you in. you put it this way, you ain't going nowhere out of these seats. These seats will, and especially when you plant them around a bend or a roundabout if you're on track, they give you that sense of confidence as well, because you're not sliding all over the place and you are there. To look at, they're beautiful. I think they're beautiful. And to actually drive and, you know, to actually sit in them, they're even better. Fantastic, fantastic seats. And the whole steering position, steering feel, good. The only one downside is the position I'm sitting at now. I can't quite see the speedometer because the speedometer's up there and the dials are here. I can see my rev counter, my fuel and my temperature gauges, but I've got to look up, pop my head up over the actual steering wheel just to see what speed I'm doing. Again, not the end of the world. So all it does is you have to keep doing that. But yeah, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, that could, maybe speedometer could have sat a little bit higher than where it is. But again, it's not, I wouldn't really class that as a massive downfall. It's probably just the way I've got my steering wheel as well, because if you lower it a little bit, you can see your speedometer. Performance, absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, not in the R mode at the moment, but very good. Very, very good. They feel very planted. Honestly, they give you can feel it pulling itself into the bend and it coming out the bend. It's completely, you got the power at the other end as well. You know, 306 horsepower. I know they're not big figures in terms of today's performance cars, and even its rivals, the Audi S3s and stuff. They were a bit more, but they were four-wheel drive, so they gripped a little bit better, but they were just heavy and a bit boring in standard form to drive. Golf Rs are the same, but you jump into one of these and it's like, yes, absolutely fantastic. I mean, remapped ones, yes, you can get more power, obviously. Late 300, 390, 400, some have even, I've seen them at over 400 brake horsepower. And I personally believe that's too much power for a two-wheel drive car, but again, I suppose it's each to their own, isn't it? It's for me, for road use, a bit of spirited driving here and there, I think standard power is fine. The only one thing I would say about these cars, apart from the fact that my thing's just fallen off, the only one thing I would say about these cars is they need to be a bit louder. They just sound very, very quiet, very quiet. And like I mentioned on the actual walk around in the video before this, sorry about this. Oh, right, like I mentioned on the video before this, on the walk around, you know, I've had people take the piss saying it sounds about as loud as an electric car, which I don't really blame them, because it is a bit quiet. But inside the car you can hear the whooshing and all the rest, but when you stand behind it, outside, it actually sounds a bit throaty. Nothing obviously spectacular about it. Impressive, very impressive. They've even got the shift lights, so you get yellow lights coming from both sides and then they turn to red in the middle just to let you know to change gear now. And these are the things you don't get on any of the German rivals, this sort of category kind of car. I think Honda have got this car boxed off to a T. It is absolutely perfect. What a mega car. What a mega car. I'm driving in R mode, as you can see there, nearly lifted out my seat. The downside with driving in R mode is the suspension stiffens up so much. Honestly, really, really stiffens up. And it's almost like you're bouncing along the road, but aside from that, the steering feel, the whole, you know, throttle response to the T, perfect. So what most people actually, the common modification for one of these cars is, you could get like a Remus, I think it's called, a throttle responder or something. So you have the benefit of throttle response as though you're in R mode, but you don't have the suspension stiffness and bounciness and stuff. So it is kind of like the best of both worlds. Because let's be honest, on track, plus R button is probably perfect. But on the road, especially the roads in the UK and around where, you know, I live, it's kind of like a bit bumpy and a bit bouncy and stuff. So you do get the odd, I think it's just too firm. But saying that, you know, it does add to the whole driving experience, and what a driving experience this is. If you've never had the experience of driving an FK2, I'd say never let the moment pass you by if you ever get the opportunity, because they are great cars, great cars. If you've had a Golf or Audi S3 or any of the German rivals, and you've always wrote off the Civic Type R FK2, don't write it off. Don't let the looks kind of like turn you away from it. I know the looks aren't to everybody's taste because of the big wing and the kind of like aggressive styling, but you're not getting this feel from any other car. They can be quicker, they can, you know, they could do everything a little bit better apart from the whole driving experience, in my opinion. And I've driven a few fast Audis and Golfs and stuff. They're a good car. I can't slate them. I think they're amazing cars, but they just are a bit too comfortable and a bit too refined. Whereas the Civic, Honda have made it with, you know, the racer in mind, and they've done such a mega job. Now what you got to remember is this car is a VTEC turbo in essence, so you get the turbo engaging at, you know, just over around 2,000 RPM. It doesn't peak there, but it starts to, it engages, and then you get the VTEC kick in as well. Now on a non-turbo VTEC Type R or any of the VTIs and stuff, you get the VTEC kick. But on these, I think because the turbo kind of like pulls stronger than the VTEC, so you kind of like don't get such a strong VTEC pull. But there is something there, you do, you know, it is still there, and it sounds, honestly, I think when you drive them a bit spiritedly, I think they sound great. They sound very, very good. On normal sort of pottering around, they're very quiet, refined, and you wouldn't even know you're driving a Type R or a car of this kind of caliber. But such a mega car these are. Oh. This car is... Honda have really brought that R feel back. They lost it for a little while with the Honda range, well, the European market Honda range, but with the FK2 they've got that feel back, and what a feel it is. If you're after a car that drives, it's got the race car feel, race car kind of, you know, characteristics, the Type R Civic is the one to go for. So again, here we go. Oh, this is so good. So like I mentioned, if you could get past the looks, the whole Batman style theme going on here, buy yourself an FK2. You're not going to have as much fun in any of the German cars. Get one with a B-pipe. You get, you know, like a Tegua B-pipe fitted to one of these, opens up the exhaust a bit, and they sound like I believe they should have done from the factory. But as they are, and in standard form, they're still good. They're still good. Very good. The other thing about the FK2 Type R is also, if you drive them like a proper granddad, don't boost them so much, don't, you know, drive them aggressively or spiritedly, these things will achieve over 40 miles to the gallon. They don't cost you an arm and a leg to run. You know, it's surprising. I've actually achieved in about 46 miles to the gallon driving on the M1, you know, admittedly, it was in the average speed zone. Stick cruise control on and perfect. You don't even notice. You just completely, you know, near enough, well, over 45 miles to the gallon from a car that can perform like this. Was known as the fastest front-wheel drive production car in the world. I don't know what more you could possibly ask for. This is what I mean. There's, you know, a couple of little drawbacks, but again, you can't let these little drawbacks dictate whether or not you buy one of these, because they're minor drawbacks. And if you're after a car that looks different, stands out, you're not going to get one in a standard Golf R, S3, Seat Leons. You're definitely not getting that. Epic cars, epic cars. Now I'm driving it in normal mode. It's not in the R mode because I think this road is a bit too bumpy. And all you'll see me doing is doing all this sort of stuff, and it's you can actually feel the car pulling you into the bend. It is. You can see the G meter just doing its thing. It's instead of cutting across there, you follow the road. And the brakes, they stop the car as they're supposed to. This is another one of them cars. It's got like a Jekyll and Hyde sort of character. And as I mentioned, you drive it normal, sensible, and it's like the tamest thing out there. It drives very, very quiet, but refined and stuff. But the moment you think, right, my right foot's getting a little bit heavy, and then it automatically just brings out that grin on your face. It's not bringing mine out at the minute because I've got a car in front of me, but yeah, it automatically brings that grin out on your face, and it's such a mega experience. And as I mentioned, honestly, if you EK9s, FD2s, FK2s, ever get the chance to drive any one of these or a passenger ride, snap it with both hands, because you will not regret it. It's a very difficult cars to beat. Integral Type R's, even DC2s and DC5s. So we'll try a draggy run here. 5.5 seconds is the factory time, so let's check it out. Considering this car's 30,000 miles, just a touch under, 5.5 seconds was the factory time, and this just pulled it off in 5.7. It's not bad going. And that was obviously a bit of user error as well, admittedly. I think it bogged down a little bit at the beginning, but if you was to get the launch right, get everything right, I'm sure 5.5 seconds is achievable. It's not the warmest of days today as well, so, but yeah, that's quite impressive. But for today's video, I'm going to conclude it here. Honestly, these cars are such a joy to drive, such a joy to drive. Like I mentioned, I've had this car for a little while now, and I'm actually enjoying it. It's a good car. It's a very good car, and being a Honda man, it's yes, it doesn't let you down. It doesn't let you down. Apart from time the battery died on it, which I had to replace, but that's a separate matter anyway. But yeah, they're perfect cars, fantastic cars. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Performance Lifestyles. Check us out on Instagram as well, Performance_Lifestyles, and Facebook as well, Performance Lifestyles. We've got plenty of videos uploaded, and we have got plenty of content to come, so just watch this space, guys. Watch this space. And if you'd like your car featured on the channel, drop us an email at pflifestyle@hotmail.com, and we will be more than happy to accommodate. Seriously, get your car out there, drop us an email. Yeah, and as per usual, guys, stay safe, and hopefully we will catch you on the next video.